So today, we're going to look at crypto from a totally different angle. Forget about win Lambo or getting rich overnight. This is about something way more fundamental, building a parallel financial system that you actually truly control. A system designed from the ground up for resilience.
But before we dive in, I want to ask you a question, and I mean really think about it. When you look at your bank balance or your brokerage account, where is that money? Is it yours, no strings attached? Or are you just being given permission to use it? All right, section 1, the permissioned system. To understand the solution, we first have to get a really clear picture of the problem, the system that we all use by default.
The thing is, pretty much all of our modern wealth, from the cash in your checking account to your 401k, lives inside these permissioned systems. Your access isn't a right, it's a privilege, and it's granted by an institution that has to trust you. And, let's be honest, an institution that you have to trust to stay stable itself.
Now, this isn't some crazy theoretical risk. The source material lays it out pretty clearly. These are historical patterns that repeat themselves. When you look back through history, whenever monetary systems get really stressed, they tend to do the same things. You see currency debasement, you see capital controls, you see asset freezes. Finance gets political, and moving your own money around suddenly gets a lot harder. This isn't about predicting the future. It's about recognizing the past.
So if that's the problem, where do we go from here? Well, that brings us to section 2, crypto as an exit. This is the big idea, the fundamental reframing of what crypto is even for. It's not just another investment. It's an exit ramp from that permission system.
And you can see that mental shift right here. On one side, you have the standard investment thesis. The focus is on high returns, the goal is speculation, and the main thing everyone tracks is price. The method, trading. But on the other side, you have the sovereignty upgrade. And here, everything's different. The focus is independence, the goal isn't speculation, it's to build an exit rail, and the most important metric isn't price, it's control, which you achieve through self-custody.
Okay, section 3, the sovereignty toolkit. So if you're going to build this parallel system for yourself, you need the right tools, right? And it's not about finding one magic coin that does everything. It's about putting together a toolkit where each piece is designed to solve a very specific problem. And at the very bottom of that toolkit, the foundation, you've got Bitcoin. Think of it as the sovereign base asset. Its purpose? Well, its fixed supply is a direct response to monetary debasement. The fact that it's censorship-resistant is an answer to politicized finance. And because it's completely independent of any institution, it's a hedge against systemic fragility. It's built to exist outside of that system we just talked about. Next, you've got the settlement and computation layer, and that's Ethereum. If Bitcoin is your digital gold, your base asset, then Ethereum is like the powerful software you run on top of that new financial system. With things like smart contracts and programmable money, it directly addresses the rigidity and lack of transparency in the old system. It lets you build financial services that don't need a middleman. But sometimes you don't want the volatility. Sometimes you just need to move dollars, but you want to do it at the speed of the internet. That's where a stablecoin like USDC comes in. It's the stability layer. It acts as a bridge, solving for those annoying liquidity bottlenecks and the incredibly slow transfer times that plague the traditional banking world.
All right, you have the assets. Now, where the heck do you keep them? This part is absolutely critical. It's all about your wallet setup. The easiest way to think about it is like this. A hardware wallet is your vault. It's cold, meaning it's kept completely offline, physically separate from the internet. This is where you keep the serious stuff. A software wallet, on the other hand, is your hot wallet. It's online, it's convenient, it's your spending wallet. You wouldn't walk around with your entire life savings in your pocket, right? Same logic applies here. Okay, section 4. You have the tools, now it's time to actually use them. It's time for building your fortress. Because having the parts is one thing, but assembling them into something secure and resilient, well, that's a whole other ballgame. And this whole construction process really boils down to 3 core principles. Number 1, you have to secure your on-ramp, your entry point into this world. Number 2, you have to truly master your assets. And number 3, my personal favorite, you have to engineer for failure. The first principle really comes down to this single idea, and please burn this into your brain. Exchanges are access points, not vaults. An exchange is where you go to buy your crypto. It's the doorway. It is not the secure location where you store it long term. If you leave your assets on an exchange, you are right back in a permission system, trusting someone else. You're defeating the whole purpose. Principle number 2 is where the real mind shift happens. This is about mastering your assets. It means understanding that you're moving away from having an account, which someone else controls, to holding a true bearer asset. Think about it like a gold coin or a $100 bill in your hand. If you hold it, it's yours. If you hold the private keys to your crypto, you and only you control that asset. All the power and all the responsibility is now on you. And that responsibility leads us right into the final principle: engineer for failure. What does that mean? It means you build your entire setup with the cold, hard assumption that things will go wrong. Your computer will get a virus, you might lose a password, an exchange could go under. The goal is to design a system with so much redundancy that no single disaster can wipe you out.
So, after all this work, learning the tech, building the fortress, taking on all this new responsibility, what's the real payoff? That brings us to our final section, the value of optionality. And trust me, the answer isn't just a bigger number in your portfolio.
What you're really building here is something much more valuable. First, you're building competence. You're learning a powerful new financial technology. Second, you're gaining clarity, real clarity about where your wealth is and how it's protected. And most importantly, you are building genuine, structural independence from a system that you ultimately do not control.
And this all comes down to a quote that just nails the entire philosophy. Optionality is the asset. The most valuable thing you get from this whole process isn't the Bitcoin, it's not the Ethereum, it's the optionality. It's the freedom to choose. It's having a credible plan B, a working exit that gives you resilience no matter what happens in the traditional world. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. This whole approach, this entire owner's manual, isn't about trying to predict the future. It's about being prepared for many different futures, all at once. So ask yourself, is your wealth set up for just one possible outcome, or is it truly ready for anything?